Billy, sorry, I just made him laugh. Billy, we are live.
What's up, VR friendos? Welcome back to a VRSpies podcast. I'm joined here live with UKRifter and Reality Check VR and VR Gamer Dude. How are you guys doing?
What's up? We're doing great. I'm doing great.
Freaking fantastic, man.
I'm super.
Nice.
Freaking fantastic.
Well, we talked about having an agenda this week, but that kind of got scrapped today. So
we don't do that.
We're just gonna kind of talk about whatever. Don recently got a PiMax, and I pre-ordered the Valve Index, so I have that to talk about a little bit. And Caleb, I think, is going to China to compete.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten the visa just yet, but that's the plan. Esports.
And Chris has a motorcycle, so
I do have a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's sick. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so where do we start? Where do we begin? How do we begin? I mean,
well, I think where we begin is with the most important thing that happened this week in VR, guys, and that is, what do you think, Billy?
Well, I don't know.
Billy got a new toy.
Chris got a motorcycle. So.
Well, obviously that's most important.
VR this week, absolutely.
Yeah, the most important thing is that Don started putting up some green walls in his extra play space.
I did. I started building out the studio space here.
Don, how hot is it in there? Let's have a look at your.
I'm in it.
Where's your AC temperature gauge? Let's have a look at this.
The AC temperature gauge right now says 94 degrees.
And that's after it's being cooled.
Well, that is as it's actively being cooled now.
Wow.
It is a janky, tiny little, 110 window unit. So probably going to have to upgrade that, and definitely going to have to run some proper electrical out here since I'm running the entire thing off of a contractor grade.
Off your neighbor's electric.
But, I think it's going to serve my purposes, guys. Finally, I'm going to be able to talk at a normal voice when I make videos, and I'm not going to have to worry about waking up the kids and the wife. So this is something I've been dreaming about since I started my channel. So super excited.
Nice.
Yeah. Your shed going green is bigger news than the Index, that's for sure.
Yeah, we got to do
that's the biggest news in VR this week, exactly.
Mixed reality videos all the time now.
All right, we're done. Wrap it up. Show's over.
That's it. So it's truly a big deal that one of us actually has an Index. And Billy, I didn't realize you were going to be the guy on top of all this stuff. Considering that you never even got an Oculus Rift ever, you just stayed out of that camp. You just stayed away.
Yeah, just jump on the bandwagon, Billy. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is funny. I was thinking about that because I can't even compare to it. So one of the worst things I've noticed too about it is having God rays, and I didn't even have anything to compare it to because I don't really remember God rays of the TK2, and I didn't have them really in the HTC Vive.
Seriously.
But yeah. So it does have God rays, and I was saying this earlier. It actually makes the black levels seem worse when you have a dark scene and with light in it and there's God rays. Then it makes the black levels seem more apparent because it's going from a gray to an even softer gray, that gradient. So but other than that, I have to say this has been an awesome improvement for me over the OG Vive. Now I know that the CV1 was definitely a way more comfortable headset than the Vive. So I can't really. I think the last time I tried a CV1 was at your place, Caleb. So it's been a long time since I've had a Oculus on my head, but it's so much more comfortable. You can see, they give you this. I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but they give you a little pad here that you can put in there. But on top of that, just the material to start with is super nice and soft.
It's the Knuckles controller material, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they for the faceplate they did put magnets on that, so you can pull this out pretty quick, and then it just kind of snaps back into place. So I'll probably, if they sell these, I'm not even sure if they do. I'll probably take up.
But Billy, can I just quickly get a look at your profile a second? Look, do that. It's profile.
Yeah.
Put your head to the side. No, your head. Because you said that your nose interferes with the headset. Yes. But you haven't got a big nose. You're not exactly. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, man. it's pretty
broad.
good size. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, now we need to all
I don't
check
know.
our
There's-
nose sizes. You need to get
there's
us a
kind of a-
millimeter measurement on that.
I want to know I want to know exactly, because that would annoy me,
from
because
from the tip of the
FOV
nose
is king, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to get one of those, Billy. That's an important thing. Just go do that now while we're talking.
That is a problem, because that is a problem with this headset for my nose, though, because if I want to dial you can see the lenses coming back. If I want the lenses
I love they
as
got
close
that.
as possible, I can't get the IPD where it needs to be. So I have to ease off of having the lenses that close. I have to be a little bit out, and then I can get the right IPD.
You're not very committed, man. Just chop into your nose a little bit. Come on, that can't be expensive surgery. What's that, $500? Just like carve a bit out.
Billy, did you get the whole package?
I'll sell the index and then get my nose job and then buy another one.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you get the whole package, Billy, or do you with the controllers, or did you just get the index itself?
Yeah, I got the controllers and the headset. I just couldn't. I don't know. I didn't want to spend that much money, so I figured since I had the base stations already, I would just go ahead and just get the headset for now, and then get the base stations whenever all that AdSense money comes in, you know.
Yeah. $dollar bills, y'all.
It'll be there any year now. Any year now, brother.
Any year.
So my second question for you is when it comes to this headset, I know you haven't had it very long, but what games have you actually played? Because when I hear you talking about God rays, when I hear you talking about the blacks and even the gradient changes, I've noticed that a lot with different headsets, but I've also noticed it with different applications. So sometimes it's a software thing, and also how the developer codes the text and how they code things. So how much have you played with it? Do you think that interferes with your judgment on this God rays, or is that just something that you know for sure is the headset? Like, what do you think?
Well, I get what you're saying, like kind of a bloom almost effect, but since it's a lot of the same games I already played, so I know that it's got more to do with the headset, because I went from even like maybe even Beat Saber, for example. I'm not sure if it had much in that, but that's a good example of like just black and then colors. That one I noticed God rays like crazy. Coming off the colors, I'll see blue and red like all the way down, in different directions. When I turn looking around with the headset, I'll see that fade off.
But it's clear. It's really clear and smooth. Clear and smooth, right?
Yes. Right before this, I just played 144 hertz Beat Saber.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It's good. It's really good. Not a game changer, I wouldn't say, but I think that's the refresh rate is something that, to really appreciate it, you would have to play for a while on 144 and then just go back to like 75 or like 90, and then
sort of intangible,
and then be like, oh yeah, something tangible, exactly. Like it's just not like when I did it, it's like I knew it was smoother. I was like, this feels pretty good, but I think when I go back, then I'll be like, oh man, this feels like I'm looking at a.
Well, see, it's always when you go back. It's like you're so used to it already, and then you see it something new, but it's just incrementally new, and then you don't really realize what a step it is until you go back.
Yes.
I don't want to be a misery about it, but if you're saying that seems to me that's a very small incremental change then, if it's not that noticeable until you return. And I know what you mean, Don, but yeah.
I wouldn't say, and I'll stick by it. I don't think that alone is a selling point. When we talk about these incremental changes, like Don, you probably realize this too. The FOV alone, the FOV alone is nice. Like that's worth it, and the increased resolution.
Because I've been testing the PiMax, so right now I'm all about FOV. Yeah. And you're coming from the original Vive, so
110, I think, was the
feel like. How much wider did you feel like that FOV was in the index from the OG Vive?
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the OG Vive and Oculus are like 105, 110 FOV.
Roughly between 100, 110, and that's FOV is also subjective to face size, how much you ratcheted it to your face. Yeah.
I mean, I put it as close to my eyeballs as possible, so my FOV is like 200 now.
Yeah. eyeballs like flat up against the screen.
They're touching the piece. It's in there, man. I am immersed in the world. You want to know how I feel when I'm in there? I'm gone.
Yeah.
So what is the touted FOV of your index? What does it say? Because I mean, obviously, like we said, it's changes depending on how you wear the headset. But
right.
you know, they claim obviously it's larger.
I think
it's 135 or 140.
Yeah, 135.
Yeah.
Something like that. But immediately, and like as soon as I threw the headset on, in my unboxing video, you know, big grin on my face because it was the vertical FOV right off the bat that I had that was like a game changer. Because I was like, oh my gosh, and the sweet spot too. This is the sweet spot on these lenses. Does have, at least on my face, there is a drawback. So I've noticed that when I get the lenses perfectly centered on my pupils, it's fine. But if the headset is tilted just slightly, everything's blurry.
Yeah.
Everything is blurry. Like I was trying to play Onward the other day, and my headset had kind of shifted, and I didn't realize it when I was looking around. But when I went to aim, I couldn't see at all. It's crazy.
Something similar in the PiMax, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with the canting of the screens.
Yeah.
Because you're not dead on, you know, they're canted a little bit. So then if you angle them,
you're looking basically down the
weird angle. Yeah. So
you know, I watched your video, Billy, and my favorite part of it was when you took the audio bit, because you were saying it, and the guy started talking, and you literally went like that, like you genuinely thought the guy was in the room, and that really sold it for me, to be honest. That bit.
That's been like something that I hadn't even planned for. Like I was like, oh yeah, cool, the off your headphones, that'll be exciting. Like, but man, that first time I threw it on, I was like, I would pay like not a stupid amount of money, but I would pay for a headset that sounds that good. Like it is crazy how good the audio is off ear. It literally makes you feel like you're in that room or in that plane or in that ship. Like it's good. That's been one of the biggest selling points so far on, you know, in conjunction with the increased FOV and the higher resolution. Because for me, the resolution's
So talking about the Oculus Rift S and the Quest and audio, no.
Hold on a minute. So can I ask a follow-up question then? If it's off ear, how much audio goes into the room? How much can people in the room hear?
Heidi.
Wow.
Hey, Heidi.
I don't know.
I don't care.
Everything? Maybe they hear everything louder? I don't know.
I was reading somebody's impressions over on Reddit, and they talked about having the headset just sitting on the table behind them and then starting the Aperture Hands Labs, and then kind of freaking out because they thought someone was in the room and they didn't even have the headset on. So obviously it puts out some audio.
Well, I could I guess I could play something through it.
I guess you could test it live.
Try it later.
We would know.
Try it a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just answer that, Billy. You answer that right in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, right.
That's
What's up, Mom?
You just help with kids.
We'll wait, brother.
Just talk. Leave my mic on too, and just talk.
But
nice.
I gotta say, generation with everybody switching to the piped audio, I've heard that the Index is definitely the best out there, because I don't know, I kind of feel like it falls flat in the Rift S and the Quest.
We know you got to do an audio solution when you're doing those ones. I do got to say, Eric was saying in chat how he didn't really notice it going from 60, 72, 75, 80 to 90 hertz in the headset, right? The early, especially when you're talking about like, or he said he did not notice it. And that's like, when you're talking about the Quest, the Rift S, and then of course the original Rift, all three of those have different, hertz, which they all work surprisingly well. But then like, when you're saying you're going up from the 90 to the 120 to 144, all of a sudden it's a different world of fluidity. Like you got a smoothness within the actual virtual world that you don't really notice, like you said. But just like on a monitor, you can just tell it when you move your mouse back and forth. You can feel that. And smoothness
I
is
could
there.
slightly notice between 60 and 90, but 72 to 90, there's
but when you add that to the lenses being better, I mean, it's really like the duality, like of adding the multiple things. I mean, when you do just one, it's not a huge deal, but when you add better sound, better visuals, and just in the tracking obviously too is supposed to be improved. So you get better, just all kinds of those things all together, and it's just going to be a nice experience. I do also have to say, Pittsburgh Joe, no, man. Although I do think VR Mortal Kombat would be pretty fun, I'm not looking to do the Black Mirror episode style.
No Black Mirror stuff. No.
He says he gets the feeling I would be down for the VR Mortal Kombat. Like, well, I think we could all have some fun fighting, but just fighting, okay?
Everybody wants kung
You're very competitive, though, Caleb. We know this.
A lot of people that didn't know much about VR, they see these things on TV when it's like such as the Black Mirror episodes, and it's funny. That's when they finally start. Oh, is this what you're into? Is this what you like to do? Exactly. That is exactly what I'm into.
Very, very out there.
Yeah.
And, for people to see that and think that is what we're doing right now, I don't know.
I could do and maybe this is sort of a weird British thing, but I could do basically the impression of every single male roughly my age who, when I talk about VR, they just do this. They go, So, can you get porn in that? That's exactly. Yeah. That's all they care about. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, yeah, apparently you can. Just to answer your question, anyone on the podcast.
We got the really subdued guys who are just like, so can you watch videos in there?
3D videos? 3D videos?
I don't play games because I'm not a game player, but I'm really interested in this device. It sounds like you really get into it.
I have an extensive movie collection. Could I watch that in VR?
Can you
anyway.
On how to add my movies to my Quest?
So, back to the index. I don't know. Have we done this to death? I mean, generally speaking, the FOV. Okay, which part of the index? What is it that most impresses you? Is it the FOV? Is it the audio?
Wait,
is it the hertz?
You also have to remember, take it with a grain of salt, because Billy, you haven't tried the Rift S yet.
That's true.
I mean, there's not.
Yeah, Billy.
Or the.
I feel like I'm getting half a review here.
Right.
I think we got to put all of our brains together. We got to put all of our brains together, and we can come up with a good analysis of what this thing's like.
I haven't put enough hours into it, but like with the first, so I probably have like 6 hours in or 7 from the other day. I stayed up till the 3:30 a.m. the first night though when I got it, because it was like I was just so blown away. I kept trying everything. Oh, Chris, we lost you.
No, I'm still here. I'm just turning off my video because I'm running around my room.
But like Caleb was saying, when you factor in everything all at once, that's what makes the difference. But I think I expected everything. Like I expected the increased FOV to be awesome. I expected the resolution to be awesome, better from the Vive, and I was hoping for more comfort. But I think, again, the audio is what was most surprising to me and what I get excited about. Like it's more immersive than I ever imagined it would be. Yes, the audio.
Yes. I used to have people tell me a lot, even with the original Rift, just the OG one, because the headphones, they would say, "Oh, it sounds so real when they're trying out the robot scene with First Contact," and they would always like play with the toys, and they say it's not. It looks so real, not that it feels. They would say it sounds so real. It's one of the first comments, and then it goes from there. But it's like that is kind of a starting point, which is why I'm so passionate and a little bit disappointed about kind of the direction of the newer headsets. Not that they don't work well, but you just have to kind of do that extra step to add on something to make them
DOS or something.
All taking a step back. It's almost like we're all stepping back to the pre.
See, and I don't want to say that myself, because I agree with you. It's a step back as far as performance and immersion. You're completely right. It's a step forward in that it's a cheaper price, so that now more people more developers get more money, so that more people are going to develop better content. So I understand that part of things. I do. I'm also still hopeful that they're going to have this add-on $50 attachment or something that I can buy to make it more sporty or more quality. But currently we don't have an official product that allows us to do that, which is kind of upsetting. And then they've got the add-on with the earbuds, which nobody likes, that I've heard.
And I mean, with the Rift S, the fact that you can unlock and remove the entire strapping system. I mean, I can't believe someone hasn't taken advantage of that and done a third-party the deluxe audio strap solution for the S.
So the one thing I want to know, because I know all about how the Rift S headset works, and you do, and a lot of people have broken that down for quite a while. But Billy, can you tell us about the index and how does the head strap connect to the headset itself, and how did the actual audio solution on there? Is that something I could just throw on an S if I had one, or how does that whole strap work?
I haven't taken the strap off, but on where it is connected, there is that dial for pulling back the lens or this outer part of the case, basically. The audio, I think these are, you can move these up and down and then back if you're like wanting to hear the room. These are obviously, you guys are all used to this with the Oculus, but it's new to me because I haven't had an Oculus.
But they don't actually touch your ears, right? They kind of hover off of your ears a little bit.
Depends on how big your ears are. Just really
depends. It's a good
Good point.
On my relative to your ear size, but it's like probably a half inch.
The guy who made these are like, what do you mean they don't touch me?
They're actually in my ears.
I guess they like the design. It's a special feature.
The audio, the other thing that is really fantastic with the index is the microphone. Apparently, it's got like the best mic of any HMD out there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's another thing. That's another thing I've been surprised with. Is like you guys remember like how bad the 5 mic is. That's like the worst mic I've ever heard on a headset. It's terrible.
It's all the popping, wasn't it? It's like
hello.
Pops all the time, but
you're not doing ASMR with a 5 mic.
I can now do my ASMR VR.
There you go. You got your ASMR headset. I'm very interested to get your take on it because currently, like my Odyssey Plus has a microphone array. It's got dual mics, and that thing, when I'm recording with it, sounds phenomenal. I mean, just crisp and clear. I was also blown away by the quality of the mic in the damn PiMax. It was actually really freaking good.
Well, Pittsburgh Joe's asking about the PiMax now.
Did you try out? Yeah, what PiMax did you try?
The 5K Plus.
Because we do know that, yes, as Pittsburgh says, there is an 8KX that's supposed to come out this year.
There is an 8KX Plus, that may come out eventually someday. Down
5K Plus resolution, like comparative to the Rift S display.
It is much better.
So you can like in the Rift S, like for example, I don't notice a screen door unless I'm really looking for it, and I have to have a special screens. Like during certain colors, I cannot see it, and only during like certain brightnesses or colors can I actually see the screen coming through.
I guess we're shifting gears to the PiMax now. Okay, so like I do see some screen door in there. I'm not gonna lie, but it's once again, it's almost like I have to concentrate. I have to actually look for it. It's a very uniform screen door.
Yes, compared to the S, because like you can see the you said you can see the screen door there. I'm really interested on how
I could see the screen door in the S immediately the minute I put it on. It was very apparent. Now, then again, when I tried the S extensively when we went out to PAX, I had been exclusively using an Odyssey Plus for well over a month. So
can't see the screen door on that very well.
It was one of those, like we were talking about earlier, it's hard to go back kind of things. So after using the Odyssey Plus, it's hard to go back to a screen door headset.
I had a hard time. I couldn't see screen door effect on your Odyssey
After
Plus.
using the PiMax now, I had tried every headset I own. I put on my Quest, my Go. I tried to fire up my Rift, but it's still giving me issues with one of the screens blanking out. I put on my Odyssey Plus. I put on my Vive. I even pulled my OG Vive back out of the box since I had the base stations. And every one of them, immediately, I noticed it was like, okay, I'm back from that. Now I'm looking through binoculars again. I'm not out at 70. And there's something magical about that 170. And that's why I'm even skeptical about the index right now, because as good as I'm hearing as it is, the two things that I'm hearing that are kind of putting me off are, like you said, the God rays, because I'm not seeing a lot of God rays in the PiMax once it's adjusted correctly. And the lowering, I don't know that I could go back to the 135 FOV. PiMax has 3 different settings for the FOV. They have a small, medium, and large, and you can actually see the difference in each one of them. The smallest FOV headset setting on a PiMax is 130, And even though Valve says that the index is 135, I was watching MRTV and I was watching a couple other reviews, and they both said that they actually felt that the FOB was more on par with the Vive Pro.
Really?
So, the Vive Pro is closer to that 115, 110 range. So I don't know. It would be interesting. I'd love to try one just to see the difference. And obviously, I have a reservation. My reservation doesn't come up until the end of August, unfortunately. But that gives me more time to really assess.
I really want to try it
So
too.
we should have a breaking news episode about what games are compatible with the PiMax, because
I think somebody knows that and put out a video about it. Billy.
With the PiMax?
The PiMax.
Oh, PiMax. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard Index because of all.
No. I want to hear more about the Index one, Billy.
Absolutely.
I mean, I want to hear about the PiMax too, but
everything pretty much works with the PiMax.
The subject I just want to touch on real quick, because there was an amazing article put out about the games that are available for the Index. So, I need somebody to explain to me how.
I might not be able to explain it, but I can try.
So what's the difference between a game working with the Index and a game being fully supported by the Index and a game being made for the Index?
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Because all these lists seem to not differentiate those.
I don't. Yeah, that's one thing I had a hard time even finding games, because I tried to make a video beforehand about games that were like going to support it and be like integrated with the controllers right off the bat. And it seems like most games, I think, where they're just doing support is they're basically, when they do just support it and not like built for it, I think they're just doing, so like when you grip, that's like the grip buttons on the Vive one.
So, and then they're just remapped. They're basically just remapped.
They're just remapped, yeah. So and not using the full fingers.
So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, in my knowledge, and maybe somebody in chat can tell me, but like remapping is something that happens automatically within the Steam software. It's something that they just kind of introduced there. So as long as the game has the same buttons, it's automatically going to work on the Index. So as far as I know, all the Steam games that exist
sometimes I've already had some that didn't work.
Right, you're completely right. There are some that have some finicky, but overall the idea is that they should work in a remap situation. So majority of them are going to work, except for the ones that are finicky. And then there's ones that are made specifically for it that actually like move fingers or have actually like, assets that are used, the SDK, of the Valve knuckles that are used in the game. And unfortunately, I've never seen a list of just those games anywhere. I keep seeing a lot of lists mixed up with remap games and games that are actually made specifically for it, and that's where I'm kind of coming into a problem.
It's super annoying. It's super annoying that Steam's doing this, because if you just click on Index, it shows everything that's been ported, even that just use it. So you can't even go on there and be like, well, I want one that's like got fully integrated hands. It's like
something you should try though, is because I was reading on Reddit, some dude was talking about if you use Revive, for some reason now the games actually map almost 1-to-1 to the controllers, because they have parity to the touch now. So you might fire up Revive and then see
wait. Oculus is this a new thing? Because I heard Revive did not work with.
I was reading some dude was talking about it in his.
I think I saw that too.
Right here, you heard it. We need to get a final answer there. As far as I know, as far as what I read yesterday.
Let us know, guys, in the chat, if you know, does Revive work with the
Index?
I don't. Yeah, no one's come up with any responses yet, but do chime in if you know. We don't claim to be the authority on all knowledge.
Yeah, I'm just basing this off of something I read in a Reddit post last night. So I verified that. But he was saying that it was nice because where I'm running into that a lot with the PiMax. The PiMax software automatically pulls all my Oculus Store games in without Revive or anything. But when you play them, those Vive wands, which are the shittiest controllers known to man, by the way. There, I said it. I hate those controllers. They don't map. They never map 1-to-1. So with the Index, because you have the analog sticks, you're going to get better mapping. I know.
He didn't mean it.
I hate those controllers very much.
No, I'm actually not. I'm not. I like the Valve ones, but I'm not. They're a little bit small, I think, it feels, and maybe it's just because I don't have enough time with them, but I'm not fully like sold on them yet. Like I think they're great, but I think they're good, but I don't think they're great so far for me. That's what I'm saying.
I think the thing I'm reading the most is people are kind of forgetting that the grip now is actually when you throw something, you're not releasing a button anymore. Posts about people blowing themselves up with grenades.
That must be quite confusing, right?
Hey, we got to time in. Our friendly buddy Eric Hartley says that the revive does work with some games, but not with all of them. Like, for example, Vader Immortal doesn't work. The Echo series does not work with it. But those are unfortunately some of the some of the coolest games that people are going to want to be playing if they're trying to use it. But some do. So it's not something that's guaranteed to work with those. You cannot purchase it for the idea of having to play Rift games, obviously.
No, you should never purchase it for the idea.
But I just found it kind of funny because I'm seeing all these videos and articles pop up that are kind of giving these lists off, and it kind of reminds me back of when the Rift S came out, and they're like, oh, all the games that are available for the Rift S, and it's like, wait, if it's for the Rift, it's for the Rift S, guys. Quit confusing us. There's already, I mean, like you said, there's so many iterations of all these headsets coming out right now. Vive is doing a nice job of kind of mixing it up with a bunch of different headsets, and the PiMax guys, they are just having fun. It's just pick a name out of the basket and whatever number and letter pops up, that's what the next headset is. And you know what? I still haven't gotten to try one of their headsets. I'm excited to do it. I just don't know which one to ever try, or even if I did try one, I'd be like, I don't know where it fits. Just like the Marvel movies, I don't even know where I'm at anymore, man. I don't know where I'm at anymore. So end of rant.
Yeah. Business edition. Is that what they're at? The BE or something like that? They have the OLED ones and then the LCD ones. Like I
don't know. It's too much.
Break down the PiMax
headset. Survivor, they're good guys that know about all that stuff. And of course, we've got I do want to even mention it because I haven't been on the podcast in a while. Hey guys, good to see you again, everybody.
Yeah. Good to see you.
We have a bunch of people out there that have been doing podcast VR stuff, and I do want to do a quick shout out to our F Reality buddies. I know they've been covering this stuff. I haven't gotten to see it, but I know they cover that stuff. We have the round table that's always covering things, and there's several other people I'm not mentioning, but they all cover this kind of stuff. So I know that anybody who's in chat that also watches these other people that knows about these things, I mean, definitely we want you guys to jump in chat and mention what you think about these things too, because we want to talk about it ourselves, but we also want to get educated to talk about it more.
That's the best part, man, is just interacting with people in the chat. That's why we do this.
Yeah, I mean,
we got the Discord. Don't forget the Discord. Got to plug the Discord.
Oh yeah, we have a Discord channel if you guys want to come in and
we
jump
do
in.
have a Discord.
The link is in the description of this video, right? Is that what
it is? Indeed, it is.
It's in there. Nice.
Yeah, it's right.
Will be.
Cool. And what's nice is we like to play games with everybody. So if you jump in the Discord, you can play games with us. We can talk. We can hang out. Maybe we can even decide what we're going to talk about next week on the podcast. And I'm going to be jumping back in playing more games. I literally just got my hard drives all like configured so I can make some videos coming up. I've been very, very slow to put those out. So I'm going to start making more of those. I want to do more live streaming. Plus, I noticed Facebook wants, if you stream like 2 hours a week in Facebook, you like are one of their people that stream. So I'm going to start doing that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully doing some more reviews. It's going to be more fun. But yeah, when it comes to this China competition, I need to play more Final Assault. So Billy played with me a little bit. And since the competition, I haven't played, and Billy hasn't been practicing with me. So anybody who wants to play Final Assault with me, please. I need help.
It'd be embarrassing though if you played me and I beat you.
I was going to say,
consistently.
I'd get my ass kicked, but I'll play with you, brother. I've been meaning to check that game out on PiMax anyway. So
we need to play, and it's been like a month or more since I played. So I need to start competing. I need to get up to strength.
No, I'll tell you, it's another RTS game, but I got to check this one out. This Star Blazer. I met these guys out at PAX East, and I'll tell you what, I did jump into it the other night. I suck at RTS, which is probably why I haven't done a video, because you guys are just going to point and laugh and go, "Oh my God, how can you suck that bad?" But the game is really fun, and it worked really well in the PiMax. It works really well in my Odyssey Plus. It worked well in the Vive when I tried it on the show floor. The devs are excellent. So if you are into RTS, guys, man, I wanted to give a shout out to these guys. Go check out Star Blazer. They definitely deserve your support.
Nice, thanks, Tom. I'm just going to read what Eric's written here. So he's jumping back to the PiMax, like how confusing their array is. I totally agree with you, Caleb, right? Because this is the thing that puts me off, right? So there's the 5K plus, the 8K, The 5K Plus and the 8K BE are the business editions. The 5K XR is the OLED one. The 5K Plus and the 8K RE are the ruggedized editions that can withstand drops and damage. The 8K X is the 4K per eye version. So there you go. So the ruggedized edition, I'm guessing, is
that's gotta be bullshit.
No, it's real. It's real.
They are all over the freaking map with their headsets.
The ruggedized version,
crazy.
It looks like it's got like plastic on the outside almost. It's more.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it does need to, because I mean,
yeah, it's flimsy.
The negative thing I have to say about that headset right now, other than some comfort issues, the build quality is quite shit. I mean, it is the ABS plastic that they're using, or whatever kind of plastic they're using, is so lightweight. And I mean, they had to do that for this big bulky hammerhead shark of a thing to not feel like it's break your neck. But
PLA.
I'm already starting to get the notorious cracks in the corners of the headset, and that's just from literally taking it on and putting it off. So haven't dropped it, haven't abused it, and it's already got 2 tiny little cracks in both of the top corners. So
okay.
Oh, man.
So the ruggedized version has a metal frame under the plastic, which is what obviously stops that happening, I'm guessing. So, but then I'm guessing it's going to be a lot heavier, which will be problematic.
Probably more expensive too.
I mean, ironically, the non-ruggedized one is super light. You would not think it when you first took it out and put it on. You would think, oh my God, this thing is going to be heavy as hell.
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
It kind of melts away. It's one of the lighter headsets that I have. It's just a different shape, and it's bulky in the front.
Right. So I'm going to ask, jump back to Caleb. So I'm pretty excited for your final assault trip to. So how is that going to work then? So when your visa comes in, you're going to be flying over to China. What's the kind of agenda there?
Ziqing. Yeah.
You said that like a professional tourist.
So yeah. It's going to be a great thing. It's the World Cyber Games. They've been around for like 19 years. I think they started in like 2000. They do a lot of League of Legends, a lot of the big esports, the computer mouse type situation. It's been going on for so long, but now that we've got VR, we can actually have people that move around. Mine's not so much that sport. Final Assault's kind of just grab the land and move it around and move your ships where you want them to go, and your airplanes. But yeah, what's really cool is we had a tournament, and then during the tournament we had to make our way through, and then I got very fortunate to get to the final round, and then I ended up coming in first place, and then me and the runner-up, which is sadly it's Bradley, we're both going to be going to China to represent for America. We're going to be playing I think 3 other groups of teams. I think actually Cass from Cass and Chari, she's going to be also involved in the competition for the European side of things. With another 3 other people, as well as we've got Korea and some of the Asian side of things that are going to be playing against us. So anyways, we're all going to come together and do a best out of 2, I believe, games, and then that's going to be it. But for me, just being able to go to China is a big win. I've never been before. Being able to play in a VR esports competition is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. If you guys know, I played Echo Arena for years. I played Echo Arena, and I used to compete in the weekend matches, and I never got to go to an actual conference or an actual Echo Arena event. So I technically was never an esports professional athlete, right? I mean, you know how it is. I did win the Brass Tactics tournament a year ago, but that was not at a big esports competition. So anyways, now that I'm going to the WCG, I can now say that I'm an esports professional athlete.
Yeah.
At least
that
for
sounds
the time.
awesome.
And that was a personal little nerd goal of mine, and I'm excited to have it done, or at least halfway there. So anyways, going is going to be fun. I hope to do well, but like I said, in order to do well, you have to play. An RTS game is not just a game where you can jump in and punch people in the head and use your body advantage. No, you actually have to use your brain and know the characters very, very well, and the maps. So it just takes a lot of hours to spend, and my competition is going to be pretty fierce, I'm sure. So if anybody wants to know more about it,
that's awesome, man. And yeah, jump on that Discord, challenge him to a match. He needs the practice, and if you beat him and then he wins, you can basically take the title yourself, in your own mind. So there you go. Okay.
That's what happens. If you beat me, you're automatically the winner. So of everything. So no, it's going to be that, and we're going to have some time to talk about it next week too, because I'm not leaving until July 16th. So yeah.
Okay, have a question for Billy about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just looking at the disc or the.
You're just texting your mum again. Jesus.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, he's just getting phone calls and texting. And,
He's so popular.
Yeah.
He's so popular.
He's a busy man. He's he's got Gabe on the other line right now, talking to him about the index.
Half-Life.
We weren't supposed to talk about that last week. We weren't supposed to talk about it.
Supposed to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
Stop giving the secret, so we're giving away the farm here.
Yeah, so I see the first one is the sweet spot bigger on the index. Yes. We did kind of address that though. It's a little bit more finicky to get to the sweet spot, but once you're there, you can actually, instead of moving your head to look at things, you can move your eyes a good amount before you have to move your head. So and then from Mindweaver, Bill, are you having the issue with either of your joysticks? I've only played for 6 hours, and I haven't had any issues with it yet. And this comes back to the controllers. Not as big of a fan of it. The throw distance, the joysticks are so short that your throw distance is, you can't find. It's like, I don't know. You can't be really fine-tuned control with it, I guess. So since they're so short, the throw distance is so short too. So
okay, that's the first criticism I've heard of the Knuckles controllers actually. So it's good to hear some negatives.
Well, I don't want to be. I've tried to be as positive as possible on it, but Oh, the worst
the fact that you're sneaking in some
thing.
negatives is worrying me, Billy. To be honest, you're such a positive guy.
Yeah, but the one thing that's really bad is if you have the lenses all the way up to your eyes are going to get hot. The Valve Index gets hot, man. It's like, it gets hot on both sides. Like the front is like steaming, and then on the back on your eyeballs is hot. So
I might actually have any sort of a nose gap in the Valve Index.
Depends on how big your nose is.
Well, that's true. Depends on how big. Well, I'll tell you, I've been using since the DK2 days. I've posted it out there a couple times. That little necklace fan, that O2 Cool. They're like a $10 necklace fan. You get them to go to sporting events, things like that.
Yeah.
But it blows just enough air up through the nose gap to where it actually keeps your face cool. So
it's so dorky though, Don. It's so dorky. Well, I used to see you wearing that sometimes, and I just think it's like the VR equivalent of like one of these little fanny packs.
You can't do that when you're playing a sports game without.
Well, you know what? But my face doesn't sweat, so.
You're gonna have to get like 4 bands for it. One's on the bottom to hold it down, and one's on the top. So you're gonna be moving fast.
Paul, really hot, not like super hot, not like this is burning my eyes, but it's warm.
He means like smoking eyes, where he's doing the smoldering.
It gets pretty hot. It needs some way to cool. Like if there's any company that makes like a really tiny fan that you could fit in there somehow, like that would be ideal.
There's so many companies that are like, "Oh, it's me."
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric's saying, of course, you've got that. You got that module thing at the front, right? So someone's got to come up with like some kind of AC unit for that.
Hey, I wanted to talk about some content real quick. Did you guys see the whole? Because I love Halo. I like Halo a lot. I'm excited about the new Halo pack coming out, the new Halo Reach, and all the Halo 3 and the Halo 2 and the Halo 1. And okay, did you guys see how they had the Halo Park? They had the VR attraction inside of it, where people were actually like a little mobile theme park.
Oh no!
I did not see that.
Man, so they apparently they have like a little mobile park. I think, let me see if I can even find. I don't think I can find it. Nope, it's gone. Nope, I found it. Okay, so yeah, there's like a little multiplayer shooter. It's like a location based type thing where it's like a little arcade, but it's not like a permanent spot. They're just kind of moving it from city to city, and you use an HTC Vive Pro as well as the wands, right? But you just kind of go around physical little world, kind of like, you see where you're touching the objects, kind of like a void type experience. But it looks pretty cool. It actually looked pretty polished. It looked like the Halo world. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if that's alluding that they might have some kind of a Halo future for VR. I would not see why they wouldn't go down that route eventually. But yeah, I look forward to the day that I can actually be playing in a nice, actual Halo environment as Master Chief with everything made properly, not just vorpexed in there or,
Oh man, riding around in a ghost in VR.
I mean, really, it's it's been so many things that have been coming all over these years. It's been the hardware that we needed to get, that needed to, you know, get to the point to where it's actually as good as it is now, tracking visually, the clarity, the lenses, right? And not only that, but we've got the content now. We finally have all these developers that have finally invested their companies into virtual reality. And not only that, but the tools they're using are finally good enough and better. And so they're faster creating this content. So, I mean, we're really at this peak in 2019 that we've never been at before. That, you know, in 2016, we thought we were so cool with getting the CV1. And now here we are 3 years later, we're finally getting that content that matches the quality of that. And even then, the headsets are getting better. So I'm really excited myself to see what's happening forward. I don't have the Rift S. I don't have the Quest. I don't have the Index myself. I'm using the old OG Rift, but even so, this thing, I still get great experiences with this, especially when the new games are coming out. I don't even really care that I don't have the new ones. So I can only imagine that when it comes time to upgrade, it's going to be just that much of a better experience. So I'm really excited to hear your guys' thoughts on like you know, Don with you on the PiMax, and you know, Billy, you in the Index. It's really insightful for me just to see you guys, knowing you guys for so long and seeing how this technology is affecting you guys. It's really cool. So
dude, it's like when I got into the PiMax, and I think I saw the same reaction from Billy watching his first impressions of the Index. I was giddy again, man, and I kind of said that in my video. It was 2014 all over again, and I'm getting the DK1, and I was excited about VR. Not that I'm not always excited about VR, but I mean, it was because it was new and it was fresh, and you know, we waited the 3 years for the new headset.
Exactly.
And all of them were kind of a little lackluster. They are improvements. They are better. It is improving, and I understand that we're trying to cut costs and we're trying to get mass adoption, but there are still people who want to see PC VR push the boundaries of what's possible. And for those people, it's nice to see Valve coming to the market with the Index. It's wonderful to see an unknown company like PiMax getting out there and having a huge Kickstarter and saying, you know what, we understand where everybody's at a race to the bottom right now. We're at a race to the top.
Yeah, that's good.
We want to give the enthusiasts what they want. And let me tell you, if you can't see from the passion that's coming off me right now, it's what I want, and I've got it now. And holy crap, I couldn't go back.
I can feel it. It's making my eyes hot, actually.
Had to pull back from the screen. When I tried the Index for the first time, it was like, so when like going from a DK2 to having room scale, that was our big thing, like room scale. We had pretty much the same FOV, and we had a bump in resolution, but the Index from like the Vive was almost like putting on an Oculus Rift kit. It was almost better than that room scale experience, because I felt more immersed, because I guess because there was some experiences on like the DK2 where you could actually stand up and kind of move around, and you had positional tracking. So, but this just opening up that FOV, there's something about it. It more. I don't know.
I never thought that I used to even say back in the day when people were having arguments about the FOV and the CV1 versus other headsets, and this one's like this much incremental. I was like, FOV, schmefov, who cares? It's like I want to be in the world. No, I was wrong. Totally wrong. Something magical when all of a sudden you extend that FOV out. You feel like for the first time you're not just like looking at the world through binoculars. You're actually putting your head into the world a little bit.
Yeah.
Whoa. I believe you, bro.
I'm gonna switch gears on you now, because
Chris said he had something he wanted to.
Yeah, it's just something I read earlier in the week. I suppose we talk a lot about PC VR, and I just wanted to talk about some of the console stuff going on. Now, you guys remember in 2018? Yeah, consoles. It's what these it's what the other people have that can't afford PCs.
Yes.
So back in 2018, you remember it was quite a disastrous thing. Xbox kind of U-turned on the whole idea of them supporting VR in the future, and were completely sort of, I think it was E3, they started to talk about, actually they're not that interested in VR, and they're just watching and seeing how things pan out. And obviously things have panned out rather well for PlayStation. But now you've got this Project Scarlet coming up, and I think it was about 5 days ago, the article I read talked about the fact that there's a very strong rumor now that the Project Scarlet, which will come out in 2020 for Christmas, Thanksgiving period in the US, will support Rift headsets. So it's a rumor. But if that's true, that's a really big deal for mass adoption, and very good.
Huge deal.
Oh, that would sell like crazy.
And you say what headsets or
crazy?
What would it sound like? Crazy, man.
I would have thought they'd aim to.
Crazy.
I thought they'd aim to get the Rift S onto Project Scarlet just simply because of the cost. I imagine from a cost point of view, that's going to be a lower cost device for them to push out.
It's so interesting though, Microsoft wouldn't be pushing it for their own VR solution. It's like we have
If they can prove that people that have their systems want to play VR, I think they're more apt to get people to invest into that for their own systems. And the fact is,
on Windows mixed reality, yes, the tracking could be better, but the overall experience is still decent enough.
Can I ask something? And this is, I'm not saying this is fact. This is me asking a question, as in I don't know the answer. The Rift S, does that have any kind of intellectual property, or do they pay any kind of license from Windows Mixed Reality? Are Microsoft getting some money from Oculus for that tech, or is it entirely proprietary? Did Oculus come up with a lot?
I would assume that that's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
The Rift S has Windows Mixed Reality tech in it.
Oh yeah, so from what I've heard is that it's Lenovo's got the Windows Mixed Reality, and they've also got PlayStation tech involved in it. So I mean, this headset's an Oculus, PlayStation, Windows Mixed Reality. So I mean, it's got everybody in it. And I the way the business works is it's so tied up with money. So if there's a way to license it, if there's a way to charge them, if there's a way to get some money out of it, they're going to make a partnership happen. Especially if it means missing a year or two of production on their own headsets, they're going to get somebody else's to work for the time being.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think that's a smart move.
In some ways, it kind of makes sense because Oculus has kind of been partnered with Microsoft since back in the beginning anyway. I mean,
they have the Xbox controllers, right?
The original Rift was supplied with an Xbox One controller. I mean,
wouldn't be that crazy. And I mean, if you could sit there and use your Oculus with an Xbox or your PC, I mean, gosh, it just sells a lot more Oculus too. So,
oh my God, where is this coming from? Hey, Microsoft, since you make PCs and all the headsets work with PCs, maybe just make it work with all the headsets.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, I'm freaking talking crazy.
We got to be careful. We got to be careful with bridging the gap of the Xbox and the PC because they don't want to do that, man. They got these two different markets, and they can't.
Just
market and money is different, and those things they're different things. Even though a console is basically just a big computer that's outdated.
Yes, pretty much.
No, okay. So I know we don't have that much time to talk, but I do. At least I wanted to say that like come next week, I hope that we get to play some games together with each other during this next week. We haven't played together as a group or a squad in quite some time. I know you were playing some Onward and some Contractors. I know all those things are involved. I still have a play space here, so I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna play with you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna say right now, public.
That'd be awesome. Let's do it. We should do next week's live stream in some kind of funky virtual environment. How about that?
Anybody here in chat that's watching, please jump in our Discord. We would love to have you talking to us and actually jumping in. We consider you all friends and part of the community. So the more we can mix, the better it is.
Sorry, let me jump in. I was just watching the counter here. I just broke 7,000 subs.
So, yay!
Days for that to happen. Sorry, I had to.
That's awesome, man. Well done.
There you go.
Well done.
Thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel.
Pat your own self on the back there, buddy. Just reach your hand out there.
Hey, I've been watching that counter for like 3 days, and it's gone up and down and up and down and up and down.
Oh, is it?
Just
you just hit 7,000.
Don't
literally.
worry,
have you literally just hit 7,000?
I'll get my account on there, and I'll give you a sub too.
Let me just. Have you literally just hit 7,000 on?
Just hit 7,000.
Okay, awesome. just unsubscribing.
Unsubscribe, right?
There you go. There you go.
What a wanker.
Just hits.
Yep. Just like I love hate you so much.
I do want to mention.
69.98.
Since this is relevant, it's relevant to what I'm doing and what I do. There's a summer sale going on right now, and there's a whole bunch of virtual reality games that are on sale for under $15. Some are above. One that I happen to do some work with, and who I definitely highly recommend, PixelRift 1989, is on sale for 50% off right now, which means it's like $12 or something. It's like $12 or whatever.
It's
totally
a seminal title, as we say, a seminal VR title.
They're working on 1995 right now. I can't say much about it, although they have released it. The reason I got to go to Japan a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago now, was because the Japan Media Arts Festival was hosting PixelRift as one of their showcases. They gave it a most innovative award, And then it was pretty sweet. They had the prime minister come down and actually do a whole thing with it, but they had people standing in line to play it, and the whole concept there is pretty popular. Yeah, so the game wasn't released on PlayStation in Asia yet, but now it's been released in Hong Kong, in Japan, in Korea. It's been released in all those places, which just opens up a whole new audience, which is pretty sweet, because the game's all about, it's a homage to retro gaming, right? Which is like the whole point of getting the people who love that stuff. And the arcade scene in Tokyo is insane. Everywhere I went, there was just an arcade everywhere. And I'm going to put together a video with some virtual reality and some of that stuff here very soon. Actually, probably as soon as this podcast is over. I definitely want to get that out there. So I guess I'll finish it up with, so yeah, it's been doing that. Plus they were at the Brazilian Independent Games Festival, and they just won, again, most innovative game. And, and what's amazing, they're winning all these awards, and this game's been in, the works for 5 years now, and I guess has been released for a little over a year. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyways, all those things going on, and it's on sale now. Like I said, 50% off. It's the most it ever goes on sale for. So definitely got to pick that up before 95
Definitely pick it up. Definitely pick it up.
1995 or 89, and then 1995 comes out. Then you haven't played the whole thing. I mean,
you're gonna think, what the hell's happening here? I'm not following the whole storyline.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Is there a prequel to this? What happened before this 1995 game?
I know the first one took place in the Europe. You were like a little girl in a European classroom, right? Playing your Game Boy in '89, and then the new one is in '95, and you're like a boy in an American house playing a game on a TV, I believe. They don't let me look at the secret documents, and I'm just kind of lurk on the outside. But anyways, I will find out more as time goes on. And
that's
hopefully
awesome,
we can get a bunch of the VR. We can get all the VR. We had the VRSpies in the last one. We had a bunch of little Easter eggs in there. So hopefully we get to do that with the other content creators as well as the spies in the future. So
yeah, definitely, that'd be cool.
That's my piece. If I don't say that, they're gonna be like, "Dude, you didn't tell them it was on sale.
Why didn't you plug the game?
You didn't tell them it was on sale."
Right. Any questions in the
game.
chat room as well? Because we're aiming to wind up after an hour, because we've all got like things to do, kids to play with.
UKRifter, I thought you had retired from YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I'm ignoring that question. You know what? Actually, I will answer that question. I did that video where it was like a little bit solemn towards the end. Had some how to be successful on YouTube, and I sort of finished by saying, I'm going to hand it over to my son. But actually, I didn't say that. If you listen, I actually said we're going to do the channel together, which we've actually not done that at all. Yeah. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to show you the most exciting thing in my life. This is my bike. I have a photo of it on the desk because
that is the most important thing that happened.
That is this week. 0 to 60, 3.6 seconds. So nice to know you guys, because I'm going to be hitting a tree around about 5 days time.
Your family must hate you, Chris.
They do hate me. They do hate me.
You're the worst. You think you're cool.
Billy, stop it. You're going to give them fuel, and they're just going to use it as fire. Don't not give it. Do not give them the bricks.
Paul says he really likes my channel. I think that's the most important comment I've seen in the chat tonight. So thank you, Paul. Oh, Anna Game Dev is here. Oh, hello.
Hey, Anna.
We did the plugging, and it is awesome.
That's right. We did, but I'm not sure if she heard the plugging or not.
She probably didn't hear the plugging. We did the plug.
Probably after the
plug. We plugged the hell out of it.
Because we all love it. Because it's awesome.
So are we calling it there? Is that the end of the stream?
Last minute questions, get them in here, guys.
Yeah, anything.
That's it.
Underwear color, anything.
We'll be back.
Eric Hartley wants to know: are there any games besides Pixel Rip 1995 that we are really excited for? Well, absolutely. Lone Echo 2, Stormland, Asgard's Wrath.
I really want to play Asgard's Wrath. I'm really excited for Asgard's
Wrath. I got to get back in there. That was so good.
It's a nice redemption for Sanzaro, especially since they had the whole of the Marvel game that didn't go so hot with the previous one. People just didn't like it, mainly not because it didn't look great, not because it didn't play great, but because the game itself was so kind of repetitive, wave shootery, repetitive, and yeah, it wasn't really a game that people wanted to play in VR at the time, and maybe they will later. Maybe they'll come back to it. But this new one, Asgard's Wrath, looks amazing.
It's really amazing. Even Palmer Lucky's like totally hyping it on Twitch right now.
You just sit there and okay, so I'm actually going through all the Marvel movies again. I found this online website that tells you what order to watch all the movies and the TV shows in, so you're in the right spectrum of things. Like at the end of Iron Man 2, you see the hammer, and then you start Thor 1, and then after and then you start it tells you everything. So I'm kind of going through everything again right now. I'm still early in the timeline, but yeah, it's nice. I guess I forgot why that was relevant. So that's all.
Someone's asking about the quest.
You get to be when you're playing Asgard's Wrath, you get to be walking on the bridge, and I was watching the Thor, and I was like, man,
dude,
I have got a quest. I just haven't used it.
Right? Come on, that's
Let's see. Are you talking about the question about who has the quest? Yeah, I think Chris, you have one. I have one.
I've got 2, but they're not mine. So
well, you got it because you're the most awesome dude in the world, and you're giving them away.
We're giving them away to some people.
Oh,
but I'm testing them.
Wayne popped up last moment. Game Hard didn't pop up. Game Hard is always welcome to pop up if he ever wants to. Just like any of the VRSpies are always welcome to pop up.
We hit 23, my favorite number as well, just as we're shutting down. That's a good omen. Nice. So wrapping up.
We'll be back next week.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be the 7th. Yeah. It'll be the 7th of July. So have a good June, everybody.
Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your heat wave, people in Europe. Cheers. Yeah. Goodbye. Signing out, and I'll remember to turn the stream off this time.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Turn the stream off this time.
I will turn the stream off.
Immersive Gamer 83. I'll see you later, brother. Maybe next week. You'll be here with us.
Bye-bye.